Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Penalty Loop Podcast, a podcast about biathlon by Jordan Gottschalk from Penalty Loop and a regular guest, RJ Weiss from Biathlon Analytics.
Penalty Loop Podcast. Take two.
Yeah.
That sounds like our audio is better this time. So we started recording, and there was a huge delay. So yeah, at least we're not delaying this time. All right, man. Yeah. How you doing?
How are you doing? Good.
All right, we got
adjusting to summer, spring.
Mm-hmm. We got the family in town. It's prime time for people to come visit Florida. So it's been busy times around here.
Yeah, we've had some Florida weather.
That's what you were telling me.
Last week, I think we had like almost 30 degrees Celsius.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day we had snow. Wet snow.
That is a crazy temperature change.
Oh, yeah. In the winter, it can get even worse. We have what they call the Chinook. It's like the winds coming from the west coast that are sometimes just coming over the mountains. And then you can, like usually when it's cold time in the winter, you can leave the home, say, at minus 30 Celsius and get to work. And by the time that you go home at like 3 or 4, it can be plus 12. Like it's differences are
gigantic.
Huge.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, other than that, things are pretty good. Kind of following a little bit what's happening, but I haven't been I have not been active at all on social media, but which makes it even worse, I think. The fewer hours you spend on it, the more random junk you get thrown at you. Like the last time I checked, I literally had to scroll through like 75% that has nothing to do with biathlon on my account. That is literally only biathlon athletes, coaches, nations, that kind of thing. But everybody I follow is related to biathlon. But
I think what we're finding out is you get the same amount of advertisements no matter how many times you look. So if you don't look very often, you get all of that all at once.
Yeah,
and,
probably.
No, I'm obviously being silly, but it's it can be kind of frustrating
I
especially.
can't really find a system in it yet, though, because apparently in the last couple of years I've morphed into the age category that I need hearing aids. Because I get like probably once a month I get a reminder that I have an appointment for a hearing aid test that I never made. It was literally like was my birthday. Must have been when I turned 50 or something. And then since then I've been getting regular mail because they're probably thinking, well, we should do it in the paper mail because people in that age category are
so old. Yeah. You know, he's never going to look online.
Yeah. But
I just don't get that yet. I'm going to enjoy my youth.
Oh, you'll get there.
Yeah. Me and Tarja, we'll get there together.
I don't even want to ask you what you get in Florida for mail.
Not a lot actually. It would be disappointingly boring.
Or maybe you're on the blacklist, I guess, eh?
Maybe. Yeah, I know what I get. They say all the time that, that your phone isn't listening to you and all that stuff. But my wife is an OBGYN, which means that she deals with women's health. So the advertisements that I get every now and then will have these like sort of women's focused advertisements. So I get like advertisements for bras that pop up and it's like, great, I'm sure that's helpful for somebody, but it's like you're selling to the wrong guy. So yeah, I find that very funny that those things pop up.
But I find it interesting that the algorithms seem to be very good at adding things, and like you said, like sometimes we talk in the living room about one thing, and by the time I hit the kitchen and check my phone, I already get an ad for it.
Yeah,
but it never like the fact that I never click on any ad, let's say for hearing aids.
Yeah,
it doesn't stop it from. Like, it doesn't figure out, well, we've tried 150 times. He didn't click on one of them. Maybe we should try something different.
So there's actually there's a guy named John Boyce who he works for a company it used to be called SB Nation. I can't remember what they're called now. And he does YouTube videos. And he just made one called, "Do You Want to Buy a Mattress?" And it's sort of a joke about how many emails he has gotten from his mattress company that he bought a mattress from like 8 years ago now, about how often do you actually buy a new mattress? Yet they persist in sending him dozens of emails per month about do you want to buy a new mattress? I guess. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. So if you guys want to laugh, it's a 35-minute video about, do you want to buy a new mattress? I thought it was funny.
So, what's the biggest update that I've missed on social media?
Biggest update?
Let's do top 3.
Top 3? Let's see. What were the top 3 things that caused a brouhaha? Well, let's maybe not do brouhahas, but what I would consider to be the biggest news. We had roster announcements. We had coaching, we had retirements. Let's start with the Czech team. I think maybe not the biggest news, but I think might have more of an impact than a lot of the other things we talk about. But Luca Bormolini was sort of the senior of the 2 head coaches for the Czech women's team, and he announced that he's going to be stepping away for personal reasons. So this will be 2 consecutive years with a new senior head coach for the Czech team. Now, I don't know if they're going to hire a second person. I know that, and I apologize, his name fails me at the moment, but they do have another gentleman that works with the team. Dostal, anyway, has been more the shooting coach. I probably mispronounced that, but so I imagine he'll stick with the team and maybe they'll find somebody else. But I think that was kind of a surprise, and we'll see how, especially going into a Olympic season, how the team responds to that. And it'll be especially interesting because Davidova had back surgery about a month ago now, and she is back to doing some training. So she had a herniated disc that obviously messed up her season. And so she had the surgery about a month ago. She missed the first training camp, but she should be restarting her full training later this month, which is, I will take to be an optimistic report.
So from a medical perspective, would you assume that the race that she won in the season and then retired for the rest of the season pretty close after, which she must have been racing with a lot of pain in?
I would imagine, yeah. Yeah, I don't think this was something that just crept up on her. I mean, that she must have been pretty miserable. And I wonder if it was one of those things where she was able to fight through it with enough, ibuprofen or pain medicine or something, and then decided, right, you know what, this is, we're not just going to be able to let this go away, and it's just not going to get better. So better to take the time away and actually get better first. Another
medical question, but could you take enough say ibuprofen that you would actually not pass the doping test, or is it just it's not the amount, it's more the content?
Yeah, it's the content. So ibuprofen is not gonna trigger a positive. It would be other things. So you could take Toradol, which is a really powerful non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, and I shouldn't say this. So I don't know exactly the rules for biathlon. I know that for athletes I have worked with, they can do non-steroidal, so ibuprofen, Aleve, diclofenac, meloxicam.
And I'm guessing that taking 10 ibuprofens is not going to really have a positive impact in many, many ways.
Yeah, you're gonna destroy your kidneys. You're gonna give yourself a major stomach ache, but hey, at least your back won't hurt. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes out. They also released their roster, which no surprises on their roster. It is interesting to see when you look at their B team that they announced this, that they're looking more at youth and increasing the youth experience. That was kind of, if there was a,
they're getting a bit older, right?
Yeah. So it was sort of a
Bornikova is not old by any means, but even Yislova is what, mid-20s, I would say. Past mid-20s?
Late 20s, yeah.
Yeah.
Shabatova, yep.
Okay, so Czech Republic coaching is one. What else?
Yep, coaching is one. All right, so let's see. We got, I I say so. If we want to do brouhaha, so we'll dip our toes into the noisy, if maybe not very impactful. Ingrid Landmark Tangervold had some pointed words for the sports media. I would say she was not thrilled with the way that people have covered her in particular. I think her feelings probably were spread out to other athletes as well, but I think she was talking specifically from her experience, feeling that she was sort of a headline grabbing piece. I don't know. She didn't feel that people treated her with very much respect, I think, in the news media.
Well, and I think her family, there was something about her mother being asked questions, even though she was just trying to get to Ingrid. So I mean, often these things go hand in hand, right? Your season is not going well, so you're getting the nasty questions, and then because it's not going well, you're also not in the best of mood. So it's kind of a spiraling down, I guess. But I mean, she's had a rough time, man.
Yeah, she has. I feel bad for her because a lot of it, I mean, health-wise, and you wonder how different would her life be had she won the overall last year by 1 point, right? It just or it doesn't matter how much you win it, but if she had held on, last year, how different would things be?
But you know what? I don't know. I feel like other than the final day of racing, like that last, what was it, month or so, probably even 2 months of the season, where nothing seemed to work anymore. And obviously there was a lot of mental stuff going on with, losing more and more of her lead. And
I know. You just wonder, because she wore yellow until 2 days before the end of the season, right? And how much would that change the way that the media talked about her or talked to her?
I cannot imagine that going into that last race, that she still, deep down in her heart, that she had a lot of faith in still being able to pull it off.
No. So no, this is all just imaginary, right? All just imaginary. Yeah. But I just wonder how. Anyway, it's an impossible question to answer. We'll never know.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious. I think, and there's a whole story there. There's a whole conversation to be had about, how, because there are certainly, what are your clickbait journalists, right? Who are just they don't really care about the subject. They just want to get the story, and they'll do whatever they have to. They have no shame.
I really, and I mean, it's none of my business, so I'm not entitled to it by any means. But if she would ever come out with a biography, I would love to read it, because I am really curious if whatever happened that changed her friendship with Tirolekov, if there was sort of a turning point in a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Because there were so many things changing. They were together all the time, having that vlog and all the other stuff. And then the year after, I think, was it both Royceland and Tirolekov were retired, and she was kind of the lead of the team all of a sudden, which I still think, I feel is not really, doesn't really suit her personality well. But again, I'm just speculating, obviously. But and then missing the World Cup by a point, or a couple of points, and then this year with health issues, because did she have in the end 3 issues where she collapsed twice, I think, and then she had another. No, so was it the Olympics? I remember there was sort of a night race or a race in the dark where just on her way to the finish she collapsed, and then everybody was checking in her at the finish line, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So
I think that same season she also had that she sort of had a collapse on the course that wasn't on TV or anything.
Yes.
And I thought there was a third time, maybe in the past season, where she either couldn't race or she had to retire, and then she had that heart surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, talk about a lot of really, really tough experiences, both mentally and physically.
Right. You just think, sometimes I wonder, like, how different, if you could just copy and paste her career, but put her in a different uniform, like you put her in like an Italian uniform, like would she be, just the stress would be a little bit different.
Yeah.
But, you know,
yeah. Such a tough thing, because, you know, on the one hand, you need the press to create the attention, and that creates financial opportunities and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, it's, I get it that you can't say, oh, now I don't feel like it, so I don't want to talk to you. But yeah, there's a very gray area where, you know, to what point can you keep creeping up on somebody's private area?
Oh, for sure.
And I mean, we had the discussion with folk. Was it, I think during last season's break, last summer, I guess, or maybe it was even 2 summers ago, where people, you have to have a tough skin.
And just like a small example, and this is even like the nastiest thing you're going to see on social media by a long shot, but just this morning, I think the IBU posted a video, and it was just like a blooper of Deidre Irwin sliding off the course and landing on her bottom, and then being pushed back onto the course. And like the very first thing that somebody responded was, well, maybe she should have scouted the course beforehand, you know? And it's like, well, you think she didn't do that? It's like,
yeah.
And she had a kind of a humorous response to it. But it's like, I can't imagine. And that's Deidre Irwin, right? Certainly not on the level of you know, a lot of these athletes. If you're
remember even when I was active on Twitter, like I do remember sometimes, you know, just posting something and getting pretty nasty comments. And I mean, you know, compare me to Vogt or Tandervold. I don't mean anything on Twitter. And still people take the time to say something really nasty.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't imagine if you are interested in, you know, being on social media, and I can't see how you can really shut yourself off for that.
Yeah. No, you can't. Yeah. And you just be nice, everyone. Be nice.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. There's no reason to be mean to people. There's a reason
they tell 5-year-olds that if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say anything at all.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, it's sad, right? You know, look, I have a 4-year-old. We're doing that right now.
Exactly.
We're literally having those conversations every week.
Yeah.
So, man, staying in the Norwegian team for our next thing. Sturla Holm Laegreid announced that he will be leaving Madshus and finding a new ski brand for next year. Any bets as to...
Made me sad, actually.
I had the same reaction.
Because I really thought, you know, with him becoming world champion, but winning the World Cup, and then Emilien Jacquelin transferring, and if anything, I thought they would have gotten maybe, I don't know, a couple more stars. But at the same time, maybe the offer he got from Fischer in the past wasn't, you know, if it's like, well, the Bow family gets to pick first, and then so-and-so and so-and-so, and then you get to pick. 'Cause I don't know. Like, I still find it fascinating that it can make such a difference for athletes at that level.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a ski is not a ski, but like, anyway.
Yep.
So there's 2 sets that became available. I have a feeling that Jean Monod has might have a good pick on it.
Yeah, I joked that Fischer probably is backing up the bank truck right now, and I'm sure he got a giant pile of cash. No, it made me sad too. I kind of like it when it's not all consolidated together. And, it was nice this year because we had Matthews and Preuss's
Solomon. Oh, Rosendahl?
Rosendahl. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Speaking of, I tried to find her on their website, and you just can't. It's you would think that she would be celebrating.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but you have to.
Unless she's changing too.
Maybe. I can't imagine, but I don't know. I shouldn't say I can't imagine because Laegreid is so. I don't know, but yeah, it's.
But it is. I mean, it could very well be just a coincidence that his contract with Matthews ended. But I mean, the fact that two of these massive names are, because they must have had first picks, well, at least JT.
Yep, pick one and at worst pick three. Yeah, that's
yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see when that officially gets announced. And
would be a shocker if he would go to Rosendahl or Solomon though.
That would make me so happy though, right? That would just.
But I do wonder, and again, it might just be that his contract expired and that whoever made him a way better deal. But I do wonder if there were situations where he felt that he could have won if he had at least the same skis as, say, JT or.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the things we'll probably never know. But
well,
I mean, Tobias knows everybody in and out. So
we gotta. Well, we'll have to record with Tobias and then spend another 2 hours with him afterwards and get the real story. But so I thought that was interesting. I haven't seen any other announcements of athletes changing ski brands, but I mean, we know what happens. I just won't really know it until a little bit later. What's next? Do you want to stick in the Norwegian team? They announced their national rosters. Can I just look at this for you 1 second? Can I just read these Norwegian team names for you? Because this is the elite men's team, and it's so strange for me to look at it. You have obviously Sturla, Johannes Dahle Skevdal, Vetle Chasse Christensen is on the elite team, which is only worth mentioning because of the rumors at play, and then of course his April Fool's joke.
I find it a bit surprising, but
yeah.
I really wondered if bailing on the team at the end of the season was sort of a thing that could have repercussions, especially with 20 other guys being ready to take a spot. But I'm sure he built up some kudos or credits over the year. But
and you kind of wonder, would his spot have been in jeopardy had the Bow brothers not left? But I guess we'll never know. And then Vebjorn Surum and Martin Uldal, and this new person I see named Change Stromsheim. Not sure who Change is. Maybe he's a brother of Andre, but there he is. I love Google Translate. It makes me happy.
It's funny because Anders in Dutch is also different. Has the meaning of different.
Oh, that's funny.
Or differently.
Yeah.
So it's been a joke in my family that his name is Anders. Well, what is it? It's Anders. Well, what is it?
Oh, buddy.
Anyway,
interesting. Looking at, they have all of the.
He's the lefty, right? Strunstein?
He's the lefty. Yep. They have.
I'm still a little bit flabbergasted, even though you can't dispute his results. But
yeah, flabbergasted in what way?
Well, he seems so out of question that he's on the team.
Oh yeah.
Well, like I said, he has some really good results, but I still feel.
Well, do you want to hear the names of the team right beneath him?
Sure.
Yeah, so there's Boten, Matt Overby, Nevland, Isaac Frey, Sivert Guttorm Bakken, excuse me, and then Sivert Gerhardsen. We have two Siverts are the group right below. And after those results we saw in Oslo, it would really surprise me if Isaac Frey did not spend a large amount of time on the World Cup this next year. So we'll see. It's worth mentioning just because there are 6 men on the elite training team, and after the first 2 weeks will only be 6 spots. So one of those guys would have to be bumped down for Frey. Anyway, I guess we'll see.
No announcements with regards to coaching changes so far?
No coaching changes. Yep. They still have Ziggy Mizet and Egil Christiansen as listed as the elite coaches. I really find it interesting that they don't get official email addresses, because Ziggy's email address is listed, and it is definitely his like personal French home address, which is, I find stunning that it's out there.
Yeah.
They also have his phone number, and I wonder if I called him right now, would he answer?
That'd be hilarious.
I cannot believe that that's out there.
I'm tempted to say, why don't we just try it? Yeah.
Honestly, like we might have a really surprising interview coming later this month.
Yeah.
Hello. This is the Penalty Podcast.
Remember, you talked to us? Neither do we, but we are now.
Yeah. Hey, you promised you would do this.
Yeah. Man. Remember when we were sitting by the fireplace and you were talking about your unpreparedness on
So I have a hard time imagining that Isaac Frey won't be on the World Cup.
Yeah, but there were 2 or 3 more on that list of the B squad that are.
Yeah, so Gerhardsson had a pretty good run at the Junior Worlds. I can't imagine he'd be up next year. There's somebody who doesn't appear on any of the lists, is Kasper Kalkenberg, who is going to be doing training on his own, but he also has been amazing in the junior level. So
I find that fascinating, the whole training on your own, because I mean, like, I know a big part with the the elite team or A team, B team, etc., probably has a lot to do with finance.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if still, like, those people that kind of go on their own, do they still train with the national team, but they pay for it themselves? Or are they like completely somewhere else and doing their own thing, and they have like even either their family or sponsor that supports them? And then it also makes me think, like, do they still have the same shot at making the national team?
It's an excellent
question. If you're the main coach and you have like 6 guys in this case that you picked that you want on the national training program, and you have like 6 on the B team that can make it into the A team by any time, are you really going to have time and, to be honest, interest in looking at people that are doing their own thing? I just
and I'm sure it's individual, like it's different for different people. Like Kasper Kalkenberg's had so much success on the juniors level that I imagine that he'll get more than an equal shot. But then I look at somebody like Ragnhild Femsteinebæk, who was sort of training on her own last year. She is on the elite roster for this year, and she ended up on the World Cup. Took her a little while to get up there, but you wonder, had she been training with the elite squad the entire year, would she have gotten up sooner? I don't know.
Well, and again, is it just a diplomatic name for who gets how much funding?
Yes.
And are they all training in the same group, or do the coaches send them the training program and say, "This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
You can do it in your backyard if you want, or wherever."
And that's
because I know with the Canadian and the U.S. national teams, we've talked about that, where it was always so hard to, when coaches in Canmore say this athlete is really good, and then coaches in Quebec that have other athletes that say they're really good. Well, how do you know if good in one place is the same as good somewhere else? So I think they developed that sort of scoring system so that at least there's some baseline.
Yeah.
But Norway is a lot smaller, but at the same time, the depth of athletes is different.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, they're kind of the same with athletes that are like, how do you know what the other athletes that are not in the program are doing, and if they're, keeping pace? Like, I don't know if there's sort of a training app that they all log their stuff in and do lactate testing and who knows what else, but be interesting to just kind of follow a bunch of athletes around for a year.
Just to
get that insight of what.
Yeah.
Well, more, I guess, more having a deeper understanding of how the system works.
Yeah.
Like what does that mean? I qualify for the elite team.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway.
I know that from the French team that their B team does train separately, right? So they've got their own thing going on. But I don't know. Again, is that just what the French do? I have no idea. I'm sure everybody does it a little bit differently.
Yeah, because what I
altogether
heard recently is that the French, it seems like they're training. They have groups based on the area that they're from.
Mm-hmm.
So that they can train close to home. But I know, for example, Lucas, the coach of Sweden, he really likes the men and women to train together all the time.
I did not know that.
That's sort of his philosophy. And now, well, they used to have 2 couples active.
Yeah. Well, I got 1.
Yeah, they got 1 now. Yeah. So I don't know if that plays a role when it's just more like, we want to see each other, so we don't want to be elevation training, and then my partner is somewhere in Sweden or.
Sure. Yeah.
But.
Yeah. One name you won't see on any of the rosters is Philip Field Anderson, who has retired, which I don't think is it's not stunning, but it's just a reminder of how quickly things can change, especially in any sport, but especially in this sport.
I honestly, though, I feel that when I heard it first, I was like, oh, did he not retire yet? Like, it's almost when he decided to not go for the national team anymore, or didn't he say he want to... He made an announcement a couple of years ago where he wasn't making the top team, and then... Did he not? Or was it? It's 2 brothers, right?
Yep. So it's him and his brother. Yeah, and his brother retired last year, 2 years ago.
Oh, okay, maybe that's what I'm mixing things up with. But I don't know. It's I guess they looked for a foreign bride and couldn't find one, and
you go back to that.
That's the meaning, but.
That roster from the last Olympics, and I mean that team is it's totally different. So Bakken missed a couple years, and he'll be on the World Cup, I imagine, at some point. His results have been pretty good on the IBU Cup. Philip Field Anderson has retired. The Bow brothers have retired. So you've got Laegreid and Christensen mostly from that team.
But I heard on the I don't remember now, on the Extra Runde, the German podcast.
Yeah.
That some, and I forgot who it was, but some people that raced with the Anderson brothers in the June, like the Norwegian Junior Cup and stuff, were saying like they were so good at the time already, like they were probably one of the best athletes. Yeah. And I don't know if it was Tarjei, because they're not that old compared to Tarjei, right? Like they're younger than Tarjei.
They're much younger than Tarjei, yeah.
But maybe it was Dale or Christensen or one of the bigger names now, who's like, when they were kids, they were like beating everybody.
Huh.
So I don't know if they just got on that. I still have a feeling that one of the Anderson brothers, there was like a major issue a couple of years ago where he didn't get picked and then said, screw this all, I'm out of here.
You may be right. I just don't have that specific memory, but I am not doubting you. No.
That's good.
I'm not doubting you.
Although I don't know, maybe you should. But talking about the French team, was that?
That's what I was going to say. So let's move over to the French. Yep. What were we going to say?
Is it right that there's a couple of lesser known names on the men's team?
So I can read you the men's A team roster. It includes Eric Perrault, QFM, Jacqueline, Fabien Claude, Emilien Claude, Oscar Lombardo, and Antoine Guigonat is the A team roster. Can I just say real quick that the French really messed me up because they had the announcement and they posted a roster on Instagram, like on a poster, and it was a certain group of names, and then the actual roster was a little bit different that was posted online, and I can't remember the distinction. Something like the roster that they posted on Instagram was like the, I don't know, publicity roster or something. I don't know. But anyway.
Was there a main, like, was one of the big names not on it, or?
Yeah. So it was, I want to say that the roster that was posted on Instagram for the men did not include Guigonat or Lombardo. It was just the big four names. And then for the women, I think it was actually a little bit bigger than it is. So it included, for the women, like I think Paula Beauté and Sophie Chauveau were included on the list. Whereas the women's A team is just Lou Jean-Monod, Julia Simon, Justine Brazat-Boucher, Oceane Michelon, and Jean Richard are the five on the A team.
Yeah. And they were kind of the core last year, right? They're the five that basically were there pretty much all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there was that kind of that rotating spot.
Yeah, I thought at some point that I saw a French men's team that had a couple of really young guys on it, but
maybe the B roster?
Yeah, it could be.
Which had a bunch of young guys on it. Gaetan Patruel, Theo, Giro, Poy. I'm not gonna butcher. I'm not gonna destroy anybody's ears. Yeah. I'll go back and delete that.
No.
Look, but if you get a chance, take a look at the B team with Beauté and Chauveau and Camille Benet and Anel Bondu and Boljaya.
That could be a fairly decent A team, eh?
That's what I was going to say, is that you could put that out there and they would end up, definitely in the top 10 of the World Cup. It's such a good team. Gilon Guigonat is still out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a deep roster. And that's just, that's crazy.
Yeah. We've made a comparison with the men's team already, but
how do you? You have to select first. You have to select 7 for the first couple of weeks. Then you have to cut that down to 6, and then when you get to the Olympics, you have to select your 4 to start. And how do you do that?
Yeah.
Right. How do you? Just look at that group of 5. How do you take that group of 5 and say, well, you're it.
Yeah. And I'm always a big fan of at the start of the season putting a list of criteria that you need to meet, or that it's at least fairly clear that when the time comes that they need to make a decision, that they can go over a list that they've already shared with the team at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Rather than, saying you're in, you're not. But yeah, we decided based on our own system or something like that. As an athlete, that would tremendously frustrate me.
Yeah. I don't know. Good luck to the coaches. Again, that's all I can say.
Yeah.
Because you look, those are just the 5 on the A team. You can make an argument that some of these women on the B team would have made the. Anyway, that's just good luck. I don't envy you guys. The men's group is easier. You've got that 7, and then I would imagine that we could probably pick the top. I mean, Perrault, QFM, Jacqueline, and Fabien Claude are going to be your top 4. I would imagine that. Well, I don't know. I would guess it would be Antoine and Guiguenot would be. Well, Emilie and Claude actually had a really good season last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's 6. I don't know. It's also tough, but I wouldn't lose sleep over that one. I think you can't really go wrong. That. Oh boy. You want to talk about a surprise though? The Austrian roster was announced just this week, and initially,
Simon did not retire.
Simon did not retire. No, actually, so he did not retire, but Felix Leitner was left off the men's A roster. Instead, it was Simon Eder, David Komatz, Friedrich Mühlbacher, and Fabian Mühlauer were the 4 on the A team. So he was not happy. He had some choice words for the team on his Instagram profile, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason for it, but I don't know why he would have been left off. He's been solid. I mean, he hasn't been spectacular, but he's been solid for a number of years now.
Well, not spectacular, but I think the whole team has not been spectacular, to be honest.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. And I don't think that, yeah, I agree. I don't know that David Komatz has exactly been outshining him in a real way.
No.
So I'm curious. Yeah. There must be a reason. But yeah, it's and Leitner's not old. I think he's 28. He's an excellent shooter. Yeah. He's hit over 90% the last couple of years. I mean, we've seen, and I'm not predicting him to have a breakthrough like Suvi did, but that would be the idea, right? Is that excellent shooter, and you find a different training pattern, and
yeah,
but.
I'm just looking up because there was another Austrian name that you didn't mention.
They have Patrick Jacob is on their B team. He's had a couple starts recently. I mean,
I'm selfishly thinking of the guy that was in my car when I gave those guys a ride in Canmore.
Well, I don't remember who that was.
Maybe it was Mühlauer, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Anyway. But wasn't there also something about some of the Austrian team training by themselves again? Like is Hauser?
Lisa Hauser is, yeah. So she's on the.
I thought Simon Eder announced that too, that he's going to do his own thing.
They both are, yeah. So they're on those. That's their, but I think they're still going to train on their own. I guess we'll see. Kind of curious. I mean, there are talented athletes on this roster, right? I mean, you look at Anna Andexer, all the Annas on the women's team. So Gondler and Yupa, you've got Leah Rothschild and Tamara Steiner. I mean, they're and then on the men's side, was it Mühlbacher? I believe he won 2 medals at the European Championships, and Fabian Müller had some good starts on the junior cup level. There's talent there.
Yeah. It's
we'll see. We'll see if they're able to uncover it a little bit more this year. I'll keep my fingers crossed.
It still makes you wonder a little bit about, is there just not a good mix with the coaching, or like the fact that, 2 of the bigger names, be it that they're a little bit older now, but that they're deciding to train on their own.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned this many times, but to me, an obvious connection with the Austrian coach that coaches the Swiss team.
Yep. Well, you've got Ludwig Gredler, who's going to be the new head coach of the men's team, so maybe he's able to find something there.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting for sure.
Yep. No, I think you're right though. They just need their own Sandra Flunger, right, to shake things up.
There was another team that added a. Actually, thought I read it about the Austrian team who added a lady to their coaching staff.
Did they?
But not surprising if I'm mixing it up with something else. But
a few other rosters announced. Germany had their roster announced. No surprises there, I don't think.
Roman Reis back.
Roman Reis, yeah.
Although they have
the 1A,
3,
with the 1A group,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people right now
in the 1A group.
Yeah.
So I'll have to make a couple cuts.
Oh man, her name escapes me. We've interviewed her on the women's team who had.
Kabinger.
Yeah.
She's had a really tough couple of years.
Yeah.
That's a hard one because obviously the results haven't been there because she hasn't been able to compete. Hopefully she has a great summer. I just really want her to have a great summer.
Mm-hmm.
Go from there.
Well, and they still have, because I'm looking at the what do you call it? The layers, the students, basically. Student group, if you want to call it that, for the girls. Oh, sorry, I was trying to open the PDF, but it's not working. But they have the Lisa Maria Spark, Stephanie Shearer still on there.
You looking at the group that Matthias is working with?
No, these are, I guess, the 1B team.
Oh, okay. Oh, Anna Vidal and...
They're pretty stacked too, hey?
Yeah, they are.
Looking at it.
Julia Kink. When you go back into their juniors too, because they've got Sydney Oosterling, and there are a couple women in there, Melina Gopp, that have had some success in the
they're pretty deep,
junior group. Was that?
They're pretty deep.
Oh yeah. There's another Taunheimer, Lucas Taunheimer, who's very fast. I'm excited to talk to Matthias to see, because especially like the youth. Those are gonna be his his team right there.
Wow, and this is going to be such an important year with the World Cup in Arbor, right?
Yep. Yeah. The Swedish team was announced again. No surprises there. I am curious looking at their A-team roster. It's got Elvira, Hanna, Anna Magnusson, Ella Halverson, Sarah Anderson, Lynn Jesblom, Joanna Skottheim, and Anna Karen Heidenberg. I mean, that's eight people. So,
and Lynn is Lynn Person, right? Person.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Got to find a way to cut that down to 6.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent
there. How about the
there.
Men? Because wasn't one of
they have to find a way to get to 6 with Sebastian Samuelson and Ponsaloma and Jesper Nellen, Victor Brandt, Malte
I thought
Stefansson.
There was one guy who had been around for a couple of years is not on the team.
Emil Nyqvist. He is going to be training on his own, he says. Yep. Yeah, Anton Iverson.
Can't say that's a name that will be like jumping at you.
Nope. Again, they have to find a way to get to 6. It's sort of an opposite problem. Yeah. That is such an interesting team because the top talent is so good, and then it just falls off. Jesper Nellin has been up there a couple times, but
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. And how many years in a row have we been saying now, maybe this is finally the year?
Too many.
Yeah.
And then the last big roster was the U.S. team, which you will be absolutely stunned to know that Campbell Wright made the A1 team. Every year they change up the way they do it. It's a little bit frustrating, but it feels like every year they slightly change the way that they manage the roster. So this year we have A1, A2, A3, and then B, with A1 being defined as able to earn a podium on any given race. A2 being can compete for a podium and hopefully building towards A1 within the next 2 years, and then A3 being people that have shown developmental signs to get there. And so we have Campbell Wright as A1, Jake Brown, Maxime Germain, and Deidre Irwin at A2, and then Paul Schomer as A3, and then everybody else.
Sorry, did you mention Germain?
Germain is in A2.
Oh, B?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, 2. Yeah.
And everybody else you would think of is in the B team.
Yeah, I'm just looking up. I haven't really read anything in particular about the Canadian national team, but
was it announced yet?
No, probably not. But
I think I was on there.
I don't really expect. Well, we know that the coaching changed, right? So now Andrew Chisholm and oh my God, if you're just not in it on a daily basis, it's so hard to remember all the names. Why can I not come up with her name? The Norwegian woman that's coaching.
So the top story on the Biathlon Canada website is Emma Lunder fires into retirement, and I just read Emma Lunder fires, and I was like, oh my gosh, you fired somebody! Like, I was like, wow, yeah, she's really getting powerful.
She's still the main picture on the front page.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, she should be for a little while, and then we can switch her over.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why. Sorry, I can't think of the name of the female coach that's with the team right now. But
so I've only got a couple other news things, and these are not these are just interesting, just to me. Johannes Tingnesbo, he ran a half marathon last week, and his time was 1 hour and 20 minutes, which is just gross. I'm not slow, right? When I last dusted off my running shoes and ran a half marathon, and he would have beaten me by roughly 2 miles. Let's put it that way. I would have been a little under 2 miles behind him.
But what rank was he in?
I didn't see it. I just saw the time. That was just crazy to me.
It was like 87 or 89 or something.
Was it really? Ugh.
Which must have been horrible for somebody who doesn't know any better than.
Yeah, that's the worst finish he's had in 15 years.
Yeah. Although didn't he have
Oh, that's right.
Didn't you have an individual or something?
Yeah.
Whereas,
this is worst finish since January.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 babies on the way. Johannes Dahleskavdal, his wife, is pregnant, and Tarjei is expecting another child with his wife. That's it. That's all I got.
One small thing. Apparently, the Blink Festival has been moved by a week, and that impacts the schedule of some of the bigger names. I think some of the French guys, and there were some other individuals that sort of said, "Oh, that's not going to work." So the field on Blink may not be as strong. And then, of course, we have the Munich
Loop 1
summer biathlon starting called Loop 1 in October, and I haven't seen any information on athletes that are going to be there.
Only that the top athletes are all expected to be there. That's all it says.
Although, again, on the Extra Runde podcast, he was talking about that the French team at this point has not been invited yet.
They haven't been invited?
Well, I mean, I'm guessing that they approached the athletes through the national team.
That's interesting.
But I don't know, like if it's just that the French team hasn't said anything about it, or I don't know. But it would be interesting to see who's going to show up for that, because that's getting pretty close to the start of the season.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming that the Nordic Festival from Fourcade is still happening.
Well, we don't know actually.
I can't imagine that being cancelled.
Well, I remember, and I don't remember all the details, and I should have looked it up, but the mayor said that they can't have it there anymore in Annecy
because it's too big.
They didn't want to host it. Yeah, it's too big. So I don't know if they found somewhere else to host it, but yeah, it's not going to be there anymore.
It's still, yeah. I know there's, probably issues with hosting it in an actual biathlon stadium, but I really like these festivals, but you can never really take them super serious because they're being held in a park, or which is great. I think the atmosphere would be amazing.
Yeah,
I would love to go to one, but I think when you do it like that and it doesn't have that official status, I think the athletes are more there to have fun, part of their preparation, maybe make some money, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ever wanted to make because was it 2 seasons ago that they were sort of thinking of a summer cup?
Yep. When they had the Summer Worlds, were they in Oberhof or Ruhpolding? They were somewhere in Germany. They were one of the two venues.
Yeah, they do have annual summer biathlon world championships, but I mean, but you won't recognize the name there.
No, but that year they were trying to emphasize it, and the whole German team was there, and they had a couple French or Norwegian athletes that were there.
Oh, okay. Oh.
And so they were trying to build it, and I feel like that's sort of fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, because Wiesbaden is also done now. Hey, doesn't?
Yeah. Yeah. Because where did they host it last year?
Was it Dresden?
That was it. Yeah, because it got too big, right?
I'm not sure. I remember that watching that track. That's, I think, Wiesbaden, I'm pretty sure. Is that the race where Tarjabo fell twice because his binding just opened up?
Yeah.
Or was that the Fourcade Festival?
No, that was that one. That was the City Biathlon. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, it's fun. I enjoy it. It's a great distraction in that time of year, right? Because the most of those are between August to mid-September, so we get some national championships in there. It's a nice time.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to do some
trivia? I'm sounding a little bit distracted because I'm still looking up the name, because it really, really bugs me that I cannot remember the name of the Canadian coach.
Well, then I can take advantage of you right now and make you do some trivia.
Okay. As I'm distracted?
Exactly. Yeah, because you'll never get it right. So I've been working on these projects, basically where I've been trying to but just to kind of catalog and so I can put them up, obviously building the halls of fame, right? But also trying to find the best individual seasons for men and for women. And so obviously start with all the Globe winners, and then you go back and look at all their second place finishers who had good years as well. And so looking at those, I've been looking at, all their stats from those years. And I just was wondering, do you know how many women have won more than 50% of their races in a year?
One? More than 50%?
Yes. They had
two?
a 50. It is exactly two. Yep. Eckhoff in 2021 and Forsberg in 2001. Huh. Eckhoff won 50%.
I wouldn't have picked Eckhoff. But I was thinking of the Swedish.
Yeah.
I always picture. I already forgot her name now. I cannot remember her name, but the Swedish lady, and I always picture her in that dark blue suit with 3 yellow Adidas stripes. I don't know why, but I have a very strong visual association with that person, but I for the life of me I can't remember her name.
Forsberg?
Yeah.
Magdalena Forsberg? Yeah. So she won in 2001. She won 14 out of 25 races, and Eckhoff won exactly 50%. She won 13 out of 26.
Do you happen to see the German Neuner and Dahlmeier, how close they were?
Sure. Neuner got to 40% in her best season. She won 10 out of 25 in the 2011-2012 season. Dahlmeier was 41.7%. She won 10 out of 24 races that year. Although I
guess with Forsberg there were fewer races, right?
Forsberg was 25 races that year, so same number. Same number of races, but right. The competition wasn't quite as fierce, I would say. Other high numbers. So they were also top 6 highest single season winning percentages. Forsberg had another good year. Tora Berger in 2012-2013 won 11 of 26, which was 42.3%. Now, for men, do you know how many that is? 50% or greater?
3.
It is a lot. So it is, let me count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times it's happened. Yeah.
Okay, but how many athletes, though? Distinct athletes.
Oh, how many distinct athletes? 2.
Because I was thinking of the big 3 and then QFM probably in that year that he won the overall.
No, QFM was only 38%. It is only 2 athletes. It is Bjorndalen and Johannes. Oh, and Fourcade was 53%. So Fourcade's in there too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Just one time. But this is the great. So, wow. Fourcade in 2016-2017, he won 14 out of 26 races, but he was on the podium 22 times. So that means eight times he was on the podium but didn't win, which is kind of crazy. 84.6% was his podium percentage that year, which is the 3rd best all time in the last.
That's
really in the common era when they were racing more than 10 times a year. And then the other question I wanted to ask you is, do you know how many times the Globe winner has ranked in the top 5 of both ski speed and shooting?
Like percentage?
Lowe has ranked, has been, if you looked at all the athletes and ranked them, so like the fastest athletes or the best shooting percentage.
No, but when you say how many times, like in history?
Yeah, how many times in history do you think that the overall Globe winner, so that ranked in both the top 5 of both shooting and
well over 50% of all the seasons?
It was not. It was 5 times. 6 times.
No way.
Yep. Johannes did it in 2019-2020. Fourcade did it in 17-18, 16-17, 14-15, 12-13, and then Emil Hegles-Vincent did it in 2009-2010.
In the top 5
of both skiing and shooting. Yep. Yep. Poirot got close. Excuse me. He was 5th and then 7th in shooting. So 5th in ski speed and 7th in shooting. No man has won the Globe without being top 5 in skiing until this year.
Where was Sturla?
7th. Yep.
You're really. Well, no. I was more thinking of you probably have to look at the gap, right? Because you can be 10th fastest.
Yes. Yeah.
But 0.5% behind the fastest, or.
Yep. Yeah. So just fun stuff. I enjoy looking at that because it's just kind of goofy. Same number. I mean, it's happened the same number of times for women. Although this is the really interesting thing. Jean Monod was in the top 5. She was 4th fastest skier this year and 4th most accurate shooter. And of course, she did not win the overall. Roysland in 21-22, Dahlmeier in 16-17 was 2nd in both. She shot 91% that year. Neuner and Berger in 12-13, and then Forsberg, of course. Real quick, I just wanted to clean up a couple things that we said earlier. So if you're still around at this point, it is Jakub Prochaska, who is joining Lukas Dostal for the Czech women's team. They'll be working together. He was the Czech junior team coach last year, and then Reinhard Goswiner. Do you recognize that name? Goswiner is going to be the head coach of the Austrian women's team. And then Florian Steyer. I do not know him, but anyway. Oh, he is the former German women's shooting coach, and he is joining the Swedish team as an additional shooting coach.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to have to, I'm going to say it was Helena Jurgensen. That sounds, for some reason, that sounds about right. Sounds,
but, yeah.
No, I don't know. Well, I mean, it's not a wild guess that her name sounds something like that. No, that knowing that she's from Norway. Okay.
All right, man.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And, thanks for sticking with us for all this craziness.
We have one person confirmed for an interview rather soon.
Have you checked your email recently? We also have an athlete.
Oh, yeah. But
I see what you're saying. No.
But no. So we got two. I've reached out to another one. I'm also going to try really hard to focus a bit more on the Canadian team, and we'll go from there.
Perfect.
Should be good. Okay.
All right, man.
Take care, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Bye.